I am as God created me. You are as God created you. What's good, fam? We made it to lesson 110 of A Course in Miracles. And today we are going to be reminded and remember that we are as God created us. We always have been, we currently are, and forever will be. And although me and you may have made some mistakes here in our time in these bodies, in this world, and we may feel guilty about something that we may have done in the past, or we might feel like we could have done something differently or chosen better at some point in our lives here, that is not going to change who me and you really are. So let's be glad, because if it were capable of changing who we really are, me and you would be doomed for eternity. Me and you would be trapped in the prison that we made for ourselves in our minds. And because that is not the case, and because God creates what is changeless and unalterable, although me and you can deny truth, we cannot change truth. So although some points in time me and you may forget and fall asleep to who we really are is as God created us, is always there, unaltered, unchanged, and calling us back, calling that part of the mind that wandered off and thinks that it's in fear and lacking something and is making all these fragments and all these separations in its mind. That is what me and you have done. Me and you have thought so many thoughts of separation that we have literally segmented off roots of separation. And what we are doing right now is cutting all those roots off and returning back to our source, which is God, which is love, light, eternal, infinite, omnipresence, which is me and you. So we are going to dive straight in. If you got the book, you already know where to go. And if you don't got the book yet, the PDF is in the description. Let's go ahead and begin. Lesson 110. I am as God created me. We will repeat today's idea from time to time, for this one thought would be enough to save you and the world, if you believed that it is true. Its truth would mean that you have made no changes in yourself that have reality, nor changed the universe so that what God created was replaced by fear and evil, misery and death. If you remain as God created you, which you do, fear has no meaning, evil is not real, and misery and death do not exist. Now, what me and you and the entire world has done is we've believed in fear and separation. Think of a tree, all right? You see a tree on the surface, there is one tree, there is one stump, and then whenever you go down in the roots, it spreads off to two, and then that two spreads off into four, and that one of those four spreads off into, and it just expands and separates. That's how roots work, and that's kind of what me and you have done. Is we are one with God, and we are one, and our minds are undivided and in harmony. All aspects of ourselves are in harmony with one another. But every single little thought me and you have ever thought before that was a thought of separation was kind of like us splitting our mind into different fragments, and then we went this way and there was another way, and then we split that way, and we're kind of building all these roots in our mind that are rooted in separation, and they are causing us to feel separated. All those thoughts over time begin to accumulate and build a belief system that is based on separation, on fear, and the ego. That ego is that self that me and you have made apart from who we really are, that believes that it is real, that believes that it is something other than what God created. And although we don't use these words again, and although we're never even speaking words of this nature or even aware of what we're discussing right now, this is what's happening. And deep down on a level beneath our awareness, we are feeling like we have changed the Son of God. We are feeling like we have literally destroyed what God created. Again, we all feel like this, but we're not thinking this. We're not even aware that this thought's going through our mind. But deep down, we are feeling that guilt, like I literally just destroyed the Son of God. I literally destroyed. We feel that way. And again, although we don't have words to consciously convey that message in our minds and understand what's happening, that's why we feel like we are living in a worried, doubt, fearful, meaningless world. And we are being presented with a way that we can understand that this is what we believe without even knowing that we believe it. So that way we can transmute that energy and return back to who we are. And if that kind of sounds a little hard to believe, just think about belief systems. Me and you hold beliefs that me and you are unaware of, and they are why me and you walk the way we walk, talk, act, think, speak, and feel the way we do whenever something occurs. And that thing that occurred means nothing. Remember, nothing we see means anything. We've given all the meaning, and me and you are unaware that we've given things meaning and thought that small little weak thought for so long that it formed a belief system that is now running behind the scenes in our lives, and it's causing us to perceive the way we do and take action the way we do and miss out on opportunities the way we do and not allow ourselves to go as deep in conversations with others as we do. Now, we are going to undo that today, because that is not what is really happening here. That is just a form of denial of truth, but undoing all that and returning back to who we really are is what is going to change our lives out there. Because remember, everything within is the cause of the world that we see out there. The world that we see out there, that appears out there, and the world, our internal world, external and internal, are one. They are going to be the same and a reflection of one another. And what we try to do is we try to change the world out there, which is only the effect, and the internal world is what is the cause. So by me and you 110 days straight working on the cause of all of these misperceptions, and we are healing and returning to love, we are returning to the awareness of who we really are, and internally gets purified, and there is love and beauty and light and joy within, then it won't be long until soon everything out there will begin to reflect that as well. So we are killing two birds with one stone. We are healing our internal world and being happy and joyous regardless of the situations. And as a result, the situations out there will reflect that internal peace that me and you have returned to. Today's idea is therefore all you need to let complete correction heal your mind and give you perfect vision that will heal all the mistakes that any mind has made at any time or place. It is enough to heal the past and make the future free. It is enough to let the present be accepted as it is. It is enough to let time be the means for all the world to learn, escape from time, and even change that time appears to bring in passing by. If you remain as God created you, which we do, appearances cannot replace the truth. Health cannot turn to sickness, nor can death be substitute for life, or fear for love. All this has not occurred. If you remain as God created you, which we do, you need no thought but just this one, to let redemption come to light the world and free it from the past. In this one thought is all the past undone, the present saved to quietly extend into a timeless future. If you are as God created you, and we are, then there has been no separation of your mind from His, no split between your mind and other minds, and only unity within your own. That is what's occurring right now. This world, again, is a belief. This world of separation is a belief. It really is not what is occurring here, because what God created is timeless and changeless and unalterable. And it states right here that we are as God created us. And not only is it stating that, but it's just reminding us of truth. And again, we can deny truth and think that is something otherwise, but it is not going to actually change anything. Me and you are whole already, and that whole part of our mind is guiding us all the time, reminding us to wake up. We are whole. We are healed already. There is no need for salvation only to the mind that believes that it needs to be saved from something. So, in reality, which I'm pretty sure me and you are here now in the real world, we need to be saved from nothing because there is no fear here, there is no doubt here, no lack, no worry, no jealousy, no envy, no ego. This is a state of mind where it is pure and we have no guards up. This is where the real world is, and no salvation has no need here because there's nothing to be saved from. We are as God created us here and now. It is only whenever we think that we are lacking something, we believe that we're lacking something, we perceive that something is missing in our world, that we are perceiving falsely because we know that we are already whole. So it's only a belief that we are missing out on something, and a belief can be changed. And that is what we are doing here, is reminding ourselves that it is simply a tiny little idea that we have grasped onto for so long that is causing us to perceive in the way we do. And undoing that is going to allow us to remain here forevermore and function here, take action from here, speak, walk, talk, act, think, speak, feel from here, and only good can come out of this state of mind. Only what is preferred could come out of this state of mind. Only the beautiful life that we desire for ourselves out there can come from this state of mind. It's only whenever we take action from that needy place, or we talk to someone from that needy place, or we do something feeling like we're not enough already, that we are taking action from a false perception and therefore are going to yield ourselves results on the same state of mind and frequency that we took the action from. So it is important and vital that we remember this information, because we are going to avoid all of that unnecessary physical action and go straight to the source, and everything else will begin to flow perfectly from there. And there still will be adversity, but remember, because me and you have changed our perception of what adversity is, we know that only seeds of a greater benefit can come out of what appears to be adversity or contrast. That is how me and you evolve and expand. We wouldn't know what we prefer if we haven't lived the lack of what we prefer, which is why when we are in this state of mind and we experience adversity or contrast, we are going to recognize it for what it is, which is a benefit. And we are going to ask ourselves, now that I'm experiencing what I don't want, I know more clearly that I want this. And we state our desire, and then we focus on it, knowing that we are already there. And as we focus our attention on the truth of who we are, then more thoughts similar to that will begin to form around our mental environment that we can pick up from and be led to that path. And same thing, if we focus our attention on the lack of what is wanted, what is not wanted, and we focus all our attention on that, which is what we have been doing pretty much our entire lives. Most of us, most of the world, they are focusing on what is not wanted. More thoughts are being made available to them of the lack of what is not wanted, and it's only a tiny little thought that there is lack, and because they've thought it for so long, it's a big belief system within us that there is really something lacking, which there is not, because me and you are as God created us. See the good in every situation, because it is there. All there is love. And fear is just the absence of what is real. But fear itself is not real. Let's continue. The healing power of today's idea is limitless. It is the birthplace of all miracles, the great restorer of truth to the awareness of the world. Practice today's idea with gratitude. This is the truth that comes to set you free. This is the truth that God has promised you. This is the word in which all sorrow ends. 4. Your 5-minute practice periods begin with the quotation from the text. I am as God created me. His son can suffer nothing. And I am his son. And we are going to read that a few more times. You are as God created you. His son can suffer nothing, and you are his son. You are his daughter, his child. You are his whatever it is that you would prefer to put in place of son if you desire to change it. But remember, gender is not anything here. Just because it's using the word son, it is not talking about male. It is stating that you are a creation of the one source from which everything springs forth from. Now, one more time. We are as God created us. His son can suffer nothing, and we are his son. Me and you are one. Me and you are one and united. Me and you are children of the greatest ever, and we have been given that power to create. And again, not only me and you, but everyone is the son of God. Everyone is a child of God, and everyone has been given that power to create like their father. Now, what we have been doing with it most of the time is miscreating. We have been making images out of separation and lack. Therefore, we believe that we are capable of being harmed and we need saving from something, and we have miscreated. We have directed all that power in the way we wouldn't prefer if we weren't in our right minds. And we cannot abolish our power to create, meaning whatever is going on right now in your world, you created. Whatever is going on right now in anyone's individual world, they created. And whatever's going on right now collectively, we all collectively created. And it's important to know that, because one more time, me and you, given the power to create, me and you created in the image of our creator who creates. Me and you are also in that likeness and image, meaning we create, and that power to create cannot ever be abolished. You cannot, that power is something that cannot be destroyed. You are creating, whether you know about it or not. I am creating 24/7, whether I know it or not, and so is everybody else. And if we're unaware of how to use this powerful tool of ours, we are going to focus on what we don't want, therefore flow more attention to what we don't want, and that begins to get bigger and evolve and expand, and we are just living what we don't want internally and externally, because all thought creates form on some level. There is no way that thought cannot create form, because thought is who you are. You are a thought in the mind of God, and your thoughts are thoughts in the mind of you, meaning all thoughts are going to return to their source, just like how me and you, regardless of how far we may have wandered off, must return at some point in our existence to who we really are. There is no way that that cannot be done, because that is our will and God's will, which are one and united. So be glad, because we are not going to be here forever in the fear. If that's where we're at right now, the world will not be in fear forever, because it is God's will, and God's will cannot fail. It is God's will and their will as well that they be returned to the remembrance and understanding of who they really are, which is as God created them. And nothing we do can change that, so let's be glad. And just like how all of God's thoughts must return to their source, which is God, all of our thoughts that we extend or project outward must return to its source, which is me and you. So before we continue, I just want to go a little deeper in this topic, because it's important to know that whenever you extend love, you are really doing it to yourself. And I'm sure we understand that by now. We've said that a good amount of times by now. Whatever we extend outward, which is giving something we have, which is what we are, which is love and light, happiness, joy, etc. Any thoughts that stem from that state of mind of truth is going to return to us, and vice versa. Any thought that we sent out of that person is ugly, that person is not enough, they should be doing something different. I believe that they should do this different because it would make them better, or I'm mad at this person for doing this thing to me, or I don't like myself because I made that situation where I could have done something differently, or I'm lacking money. Whatever it is that we may be thinking, and the Course wouldn't call those thoughts thinking at all. They're simply hallucinations, because anything thought out of fear, remember, fear is a state of mind that is not really there. It is just the absence of something real, which is love. So when we're thinking without love, we can't really consider that thinking at all. We are hallucinating, and all of these thoughts create form on some level, and we are going to get more of that because all thoughts must return to their source. Meaning, although however bad somebody in this world thinks that they're doing somebody else a disservice by projecting all those thoughts out there, and they think that they're good because they're right and they're projecting all that hate out there, it must come back to them. And remember, time is non existent in reality. Therefore, those thoughts, the instant they thought it, came back to them. They are attacking themselves. Remember, all thoughts that are thought by us apart and separate from love are attack thoughts on ourselves, because all thoughts must return to the sender, and that will make us very deliberate about what we are sending out there. And this doesn't mean that we have to monitor our thoughts 24/7, because that gets exhausting. All it means is just pay attention to the way you feel. Are you at peace? Okay, then you are functioning. You are as God created you. And are you anything other than peace? Are you upset in any form that it may take, whether it seems like big depression or tiny little minute irritation? That tiny little minute irritation is still a thought apart from love. Therefore, it is equally disturbing to what appears to be a bigger, more disturbing thought. And those thoughts are going to be indicated to you by a negative emotion, and that emotion is the most important thing ever, because it's letting you know that you need to do something about releasing resistance, so that way you can return to love and light, which is who you really are. So instead of monitoring your thoughts 24/7, just go out and live your life and pay attention to the way you feel. And whenever you're at your best, whenever you're feeling happy, joy, freedom, etc., you are as God created you in that moment. And whenever you are feeling worried, doubt, fear, jealousy, etc., then you are still as God created you, but you just can't perceive that. Therefore, you're basically what you created, what you miscreated, what you believe that you are, and nothing that we desire comes out of being what we made out of fear. So it's important to understand everything we're discussing right now. I know we've heard it 1,000 times said in many different ways, but we are going to say it 1,000 more times said in many more different ways, because this repetition of this information is what is going to cause this information to be autopilot, where we will never have to open this book again, although we probably will want to, because it's a very entertaining thing to read. But the point is that knowledge and truth is who me and you are, and we need not look outside of ourselves for it. But while we are still unlearning, it is a great tool to help us be in the presence of this information long enough until we get to the point where we are anchored in this experience forevermore, where we are in the present now forevermore, and we extend this joy for the rest of our lives here in these bodies, because that is what we intended to do before we stepped in these bodies. So let's go ahead and continue. Then, with this statement firmly in your mind, try to discover in your mind the self with a capital S, who is the Holy Son of God himself, which is who you really are. Seek him within you, who is Christ in you, the Son of God and brother to the world, the Savior who has been forever saved, with power to save whoever touches him, however lightly, asking for the word that tells him he is brother unto him. Now, Me and you have that power. Me and you being in this awareness of who we really are. Anybody in our physical presence is going to feel this emanation, feel this energy, and whether they are consciously aware of it or not, they are going to be saved on levels they can't even imagine, because we are looking at them with guiltlessness. We are looking at them as they are, as God created them. We see them for who they really are. And although our brother over there is sleeping in our presence, they are going to return to love. And that's the power that me and you hold. And we are going to learn how to exercise this power. But before we could do this and try to save everyone else, me and you must be saved, because you can't save someone if you're not saved. And you can't heal someone if you're not healed. But because me and you are in this moment saved, because there's no fear here, and the more and more and more we practice this till we're anchored in the state of mind, the easier it will become to not get triggered in the world. Soon we will have no more triggers, because we will have removed all of those triggers at their source, which is us. We will have removed all those pinpoints that usually get to us, so that way whenever something like that in the world occurs again, we will not be triggered, and only then can we be in the presence of any aspect of ourselves out there, any person, and they will be reminded of who they really are as well, in the presence of somebody who remembers. You are as God created you. Today, honor yourself, aka who you really are. Let graven images you made to be the Son of God instead of what he is be worshipped not today. Deep in your mind, the Holy Christ in you is waiting your acknowledgement as you, and you are lost and do not know yourself while he is unacknowledged and unknown. Seek him today and find him. He will be your Savior from all idols you have made. For when you find him, you will understand how worthless your idols are, and how false the images which you believed were you. That's how false they were. All those images of us that appear needy, lacking something, not enough, or need this person to be whole, or need this amount of money to be whole, or career to be whole, or whatever it is to be whole, that is an idol image that is worthless. And those false images are going to be made apparent to us, and we are finally going to see how foolish we were to ever think those thoughts, because we have been putting our salvation out there in the world, when really our salvation lies within. And really we need no salvation because of who we are. Today, we make a great advance to truth by letting idols go and opening your hands and hearts and minds to God today. We will remember him throughout the day with thankful hearts and loving thoughts for all who meet with us today. For it is thus that we remember him, and we will say that we may be reminded of his Son, our holy self, the Christ in each of us. I am as God created me. You are as God created you. We are as God created us. Let us declare this truth as often as we can. This is how the word of God that sets you free. This is the word of God that sets you free. This is the key that opens up the gate of heaven, and that lets you enter in the peace of God and his eternity. And that is the end of lesson 110 of Course in Miracles. This is a beautiful lesson and an easy one too. So for the beginning 5 minutes of every hour, we're going to repeat this statement as many times, even if it's as frequent as this, for 5 minutes straight. I am as God created me. 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 And you repeat that like that to block out any other thoughts that are deviating you from this path. If it takes you to just continuously repeat that for 5 minutes, and or even whenever it is not the beginning of an hour and you feel like you are down, you are not in this state of mind that you know where you belong, and if you need to repeat that statement like that so frequently, do it. whatever it takes, you must do whatever it takes to remain in this state of mind. And trust me, I do the same thing because I fall asleep too, because I'm here with you and it could be triggering out there due to all of the internal triggers that may still exist within me. So when I fall asleep, I snap back out of it as soon as possible. This is my number one priority. I have no other goals other than to remain in this state of mind. And then when I'm in this state of mind, I go out about my day and live a joyous, beautiful life in this beautiful world that me and you are a part of. And I fall asleep again and I wake right back up because that is my goal. That is my main priority. And once I'm in the state of mind, I go out and about my day and I do whatever it is that I do to bring me joy, and I live this beautiful world that we and you are a part of. And whenever I fall asleep, I wake back up, and you get the point here. This is what the work is. Me and you need to make sure that we are here forevermore. And something triggers you, it's a good thing, not a bad thing. That what appears to be as adversity or contrast is a good thing. It's triggering you for a reason because it's letting you know what you're attached to still in this world. And whenever you detach yourself from everything in this world, you are free. And you don't have to do so in a way where you go sell all your stuff and have nothing. That's not what we're suggesting here. What we're suggesting is be detached from it in a way that if something were to happen from it, whether, and not only can you be attached to physical material possessions, but ideas about yourself. Don't be attached to any ideas of yourself. Don't try to make this false identity who you are, because whenever it gets tested and whenever it appears like there's something opposing that self-image that you made, you feel threatened because you're attached to that identity, and it becomes harder to grow beyond that identity. So remember that your identity is the Son of God, and you could be doing have whatever it is that you desire in this world, but just don't be attached to nothing, because whenever it gets taken from you, or if something were to happen to that thing and it is no longer in your possession, then you're going to feel powerless. And I'm sure you've experienced that before, and we need not feel that way because me and you are as God created us. So we are going to conclude today's lesson right there. We will be back here again tomorrow for lesson 111. And just keep in mind, tomorrow we are going to begin review lessons, the third review of the workbook for students. So we have some review lessons coming up tomorrow. And those are always fun because it gives us the opportunity to go back onto the lessons that we learned a few weeks ago and re-impress them in our minds again and strengthen those ideas and those seeds that we planted a few weeks ago. When we return to them, it's going to all click. It's a gradual process that me and you are doing to remain here forevermore. And it is done all so intentionally and deliberately. So let's go ahead and pause for now, and until tomorrow, we will meet here in the same spot for lesson 111.